Noble Nord, remember these words of the Whore Father. Fear not the spectre of death, for he's the herald of glory and your guide to great Sovngarde. Hey, what's going on, peeps? My name is Rex and we're back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and man, is this episode gonna be loaded. There's so much that I want to talk about, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to cover everything, so, do bear with me. Now, you guys voted on straw poll, and you guys decided to go for Conjuration as our magical property, which I appreciate a lot. I did mention yesterday that, I guess it was the day before yesterday, that Conjuration is by far the easiest thing, I would say, to play in Legendary. It just allows you so many freedoms to be able to just summon things to help you out. It makes a hell of a difference, especially at level 75, because that's when we're gonna start getting the really good spells. We'll get to that later, but just because you guys chose Conjuration, some things are gonna change. For the most part, we will be using Conjure Sword instead of our normal Imperial Swords. So the Bound Sword has what I believe is a base power of 9? I believe it's 9, which already makes it on the same level as the Nordic hero stuff and the Skyforge stuff. So it's like better than the steel, better than the iron, better than the orcish, and I believe better than the dwarven. So it's very good. And as soon as we get Mystic of Binding, which increases the damage of it, it's gonna be equal to Daedric stuff. So really good stuff. Now, I'm not sure how the math works, because obviously you cannot really reinforce this in a grinding stone. But usually what I like to, how do I phrase this? The rules of thumb that I usually use is, if I have Mystic Binding, then I usually just wait until I get a Daedric Sword before I change it to the Daedric Sword, so that then I can, grind it into victory. Anyways, we got two really good questions that I'm really excited to talk about. So the first one is from #Sire that says, does the other races have heavens? Because, like, only the Nords have Sovngarde, and the other races, like elves, do not have heavens when they die. So do they have or not? I'm curious. Now, this is a very loaded question. Very loaded. The thing about Sovngarde is that it's not really heaven. And because before I even get there, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be walking all the way towards Iverstead, because there's a lot that I want to talk about, and all you guys said that you would rather just have me go around and explore a little bit of Whiterun Hold before we continue with this story. So there's a couple of places that I'm going to visit, but mostly, it's really just going to be a walk, a very chill, relaxing walk, and we'll just talk about lore. Sounds good? Good. But, Sovngarde is not really a heaven. You see, what you have in the world of Elder Scrolls is really just a compilation of worlds. You have Nirn, you have the moons, you have Aetherius, and then you have the Daedric realms. Like, there's no super extra planar of existence that only goes to spirits. It's not necessarily how it works in this game. The way it works is you have to... You see, when you die, your soul leaves your body, and really all that happens is your soul gains the ability to move through planes of existence, kind of like Numidium, the brass tower. He was supposed to be able to jump from Nirn to Aetherius and, kind of go around the worlds like that. When you die, your soul kind of gets that ability. So what usually happens is your soul leaves the plane of Nirn, never to be seen again. For the most part, this happens. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, you've seen a lot of ghosts and specters and wights. I mean, there's a quest we're going to pass by real soon in the monument. But for the most part, yeah, souls don't have to necessarily leave. Sometimes they just don't, right? And it's one of those theories that people say that maybe dragons are not necessarily immortal as much as their souls just never quite leave this world, so they always keep coming back, which is a possibility. I mean, dragons obviously come from Akatosh. Holy shit, I don't think I can do this. Well, so much for this beautiful walk. I'm fucked, guys. Talking about dragons too, the immortal dragons. Oh boy, I'm just gonna run away. Maybe he'll spare me. But Akatosh is not allowed to leave, right? He created this world along with the other 8 Adas. and he cannot leave it. So maybe there is something to that, you know, just like the dragons. Even if their souls are immortal, their souls are not allowed to leave, so they're forced to stay here in Nirn. This guy is not gonna leave me, and I definitely cannot attack it. So I'm hoping that he'll just back away. It's gonna attack some some wolves, I suppose. That's fine. It's gonna clear us the road. Now, the way it works is your soul is definitely going to leave Nirn, but where does it go? Well, I'm not sure. It's really one of those things that we don't really get told. The souls just kind of go out of Nirn, and they just kind of, I guess, fly around in the flow of life, really not doing anything. Now, the reason some Nords souls do go into Sovngarde is because the Nords and the Admorans are quite literally, and I want you guys to read what I'm about to say. Like, oh my god, I'm trying to explain something and this guy's just flying around. I want you guys to take what I'm about to say as literal as it sounds, because I am meaning it to be sound as literal as I'm gonna say it. The reason Nords and Admorans go to Sovngarde is because they're selling their souls to Shore. Now, Shore is Lorcan, is how they call Lorcan in the ancient Nordic pantheon. You see, back in the Merithic era, and I really don't want to talk about this too long, because I probably should have a video just for that. But Lorcan sided with the humans. He felt some kind of kinship with the humans, so he fought for them in the war between the humans and the elves. Back in the, I think they call them the Enoel Wars. It's a very weird pronunciation. But he said it with the humans, he felt some kind of kinship, and to reward, I mean, eventually he died, of course, but to reward those humans who fought for him, he decided to create a different world in Aetherius, a world where humans who venerated him and fought for him would, you know, eventually go towards a place where they could drink and party forevermore. And so, since then on, if you pledged your soul to Shore, and if you indeed I mean, do what he asks of you, if you pay the toll, which in this case to go to Sovngarde, see, you don't automatically go to Sovngarde even if you are a Nord or an Admoran. People that die don't always go there. To go there, you have to be honorful in your life, and you have to, you know, usually if you die in battle, or if you are like a really good person, like there's actually a restriction, a thing that you have to do to enter there. And this is very similar to Hircine. You know, if you turn into a werewolf, you're pretty much selling your soul. Oops, sorry about that. So if you turn into a werewolf, you're literally selling your soul to Hircine. And
cave here. Think we should check it out?
And if you die, you go into the, I think it's the Great Hunt, his plane of existence. But it's pretty much the same thing, right? So you feel the restriction. And of course, if you want, then you get sent to Sovngarde. But the biggest misconception is that not everyone... Actually, I want to walk a little bit more. I want to go here, but I guess I'll wait a little bit later. The biggest common misconception is that Sovngarde is not just restricted to Nords and Admorans. In fact, anyone can go there. I'm not sure about elves. That's like the one thing, but... for the most part, as long as you're human, you can definitely go there. Like, there's nothing that says that that Bretons cannot go to Sovngarde. Like, that's a pretty big common misconception. In fact, the Ebony Warrior, which is a character that you guys seem to be very familiar with, is a guy that you fight at level 80, but in this game. But one of the biggest things about the Ebony Warrior is that the reason he challenges you is so that you can send his soul to Sovngarde finally. Like, that's what he wants, right? And he's a Redguard. He's not a Nord, and yet he's allowed in Sovngarde. Exactly. Same thing with the companions. There's actually a girl in the companions guild called, I believe, is Rhea. She's not a Nord. She's an Imperial. Yet she claims that she will go to Sovngarde. It's the same thing. Like, you don't have to be a Nord. Now, where do the Elvish souls go towards? I don't know. They probably just kind of swim around in Sovngarde. Honestly, I have no clue. But it's one of those things. So I hope that answers your question. A hash, really good question. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I suppose in theory, it's really just a matter of where you want your soul to be sent, who you're selling your soul to. If you want to sell it to Shore, or if you want to sell it to an Oblivion Prince. I mean, I'm assuming that if you sell your soul to Molag Bal, then you get sent to Molag Bal's realm, right? Like it's one of those things.
I'd stay away if I were you.
All right. It's a little pissed off. There's also the Broken Fan Cave that I want to unlock here. I'm gonna do the Bloated. Is it Bloated? I think it's Bloated Man's Grotto over there, because there's some lore that I want to talk about in there. And then there's the Fan Cave, which is filled with vampires, and I obviously want to talk a little bit about vampires, not really that much, but just as a small introduction to what they are. But for now, I just want to unlock them. We'll come back in just a bit. I want to get the monument first before I really do anything else as far as, dungeons are concerned. But there's another question that I wanted to respond, because it kind of blew my mind, and maybe it'll do that for you guys too. So, I cannot spell, he wrote. Okay, a few things. Firstly, you mentioned Olaf One-Eye possibly using shouts, and then he may have been a Dragonborn? If this is the case, he would have absorbed Numinex's soul, hence why Alduin doesn't resurrect him, and possibly why there is an Olaf One-Eye in Sovngarde and one in Nirn having 2 souls, plus the whole Numinex being Olaf, etc. I really hope you see this, because it's rare that I put so much time into our comment. Really appreciate it, man. Really, I'm assuming you're a guy. A lot of people have been giving me shit because I tend to default towards guy. It's just, I guess it's just automatic. There's no, I'm not dissing anybody. I just, everything, unless it's like a very obvious female name like Sarah or something, I automatically go and assume that it's a guy. I'm sorry. I don't want to really offend anybody. But what I really like, okay, so we were talking about Olaf before, and the thing that I thought was very curious about him is that he didn't live in the dragon era. Like, he died on the first era, the year 400, and I think it was 53 or something. Like, that's like at least 400 years after the dragons were like executed. The bullshit part is that we don't really get a very exact time, like, oh yeah, the dragon wars happened at this year. Like, we don't actually get that. What we do get is like little bits of information from books, like, oh, the last dragon priest was killed in this year, and that's kind of like what we use to figure things out. So the last dragon priest, who I believe was the guy over here behind Riften in this mountain over here. I think it's called Full Host? Forget the name of it, but it's here. So that was the last dragon cult barricade that was destroyed, if I remember correctly. And that was like 300 years before One-Eye. So One-Eye he lived way after the dragon stuff, yet you can actually see him as a drugger. It makes no sense, right? Why would he be a drugger if there was no Alduin and no dragon priest to make him a drugger? Does that make any sense to you guys? So that was one of the biggest questions. What is going on here? And then on top of that, we have already talked about that druggers are actually alive, that their souls are still in there, right? Which is a reason why you can actually soul trap them in the game, right? So we have already argued that. So if that's the case, if their soul is still in this world, then why can you find Olaf in Sovngarde? It's a big question a lot of people were asking. And what I cannot spell says that may be the case is that what if he was a dragonborn? Because we know that he used thumbs. Now, we know, of course, you don't have to be a dragonborn to use thumbs. But in this case, what if he was a dragonborn? What if he killed, later on down the line when he captured Numinex, what if he killed him and devoured its soul? Pretty much having, in theory, 2 souls in his body. So when he died, his human soul escaped Nirn and went into Sovngarde. But the dragon soul that he had devoured previously, because we know that dragon souls are immortal, right? They cannot just be destroyed. What if his soul stayed in the body and became a drugger? I mean, we know that Alduin creates druggers. We know that dragon priests create druggers. So what if the dragon simply became a drugger under the body of Olaf? I think it's a brilliant hypothesis. It's a great theory. It's one of those things where, like, I don't know if the math is correct. Like, I don't know if that's even possible, but man, it honestly, like, perfectly fills all the holes. Especially so because there's obviously arguments that people were saying that people were thinking that Olaf and the dragon Numinex were one person. Well, that fucking explains it as well, right? That would explain why people would think that. Because he had 2 souls in his body, because he was dragonborn. Thank you so much, I Cannot Spell. That was a brilliant thesis. I love it. I love it so much. It could explain a lot of stuff. Not sure if that all kind of, you know, works like that, necessarily. But I love it nonetheless. It's pretty great. I wanted to come by here to show you guys the big mud crab. There's a quest later on that will have you fight the spirit of the mud crab, but you can, you know, see the fossil of it. You know, if you just kind of come here under the monument. It's one of those very famous creatures in Skyrim. It's an unmarked place in the world of Skyrim, in the game. Eventually I'm going to make a video showing you guys every single cool unmarked location, because there's so many of them, things that are just like hidden. The game doesn't really give you a fast travel to them or a way to know that there's something special in there, and this is one of them. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, we leveled up, cool. I want to be putting points into Conjuration, of course, because I want to get Mystic Binding. For that I'm gonna need... Oh, actually I got it, so 1 more level. Man, I leveled it really quickly, that's awesome. The way the Bound Sword works is it gives you experience whenever you summon it, if you have an enemy that is... that knows that you're there, so you can just use it while snaking. The enemy has to know that you're there. And yeah, it's not by using it. You actually get one-handed levels by using the weapon. On the other hand, if you summon like a zombie or something, or like a Dremora, you get experience for summoning the Dremora. And if the Dremora does damage, then you also get experience. So it's a little bit different. Very important to know. Oh, the reason I wanted to go to the monument was also because I was talking about the ghosts, the spirits. So eventually we're gonna do a quest for Mara that is gonna summon a couple of ghosts here. And that was just an example of what I was saying, that the souls don't necessarily have to leave Nirn. Sometimes they can stay here in Nirn. Like they're not forced to leave necessarily, right? If they don't want to. And that's, you know, just an example of that, ghosts and whatnot. Anyways, thank you guys, Sire and I Cannot Spell, for the questions and the help. Really, really good stuff. Now I want to go over to the Bloated Man's Grotto. I'll come back to the monument, and then no, you know what? Let's just walk around and actually get into Iverstead so that I can just get that fast travel. Then we'll do the Bloated Man's Grotto. If we still have time, then I guess I can do the Broken Fang and end the episode there. One of the reasons I wanted to walk around in the Shroud of Night was so that I could talk about, you know, the heaven and stuff, because it's a lot easier to see, to understand the concept of it when you realize that the sky is not really what it portrays. We have talked about that before, the fact that those stars are not actually stars. In fact, the universe of this game is really just a planet and the moons. Like there's nothing else in the universe. It's really just a planet. So the stars are actually holes punched into the fabric of reality by the spirits that were creating this world when they realized that their magic was being absorbed to create the world, and they wanted none of that, so they left it. So the lights that are coming from those holes illuminating the world is really just the light coming from Anu, from Aetherius. They say that Anu, the god of everything, is really just a light that is, ever was, and will be. It's a light that encompasses everything. So you can see that the sun is like a big hole with light coming out of it, and then the stars are that as well. You can see it, I guess, more clearly when you actually go to Sovngarde, because Sovngarde is not located in the universe here, in this world of reality, but it's actually in Aetherius itself. So you can see, you know, like how the light of Anu actually really looks like. I'm gonna quick save here because those guys are up to no good, as you can see by the naked girl over there. Those guys were having fun, I guess.
Never should have come here.
Well, you told me to. Alright, let's go ahead and quickly, I guess, end them. I don't know that's strong. Yeah, we can do this. go ahead and use some potions. Should be alright. We're pretty strong. There we go. Oh shit! Alright. If we, but some people have been asking me that, I guess I want to cover two different things. People have been telling me ways of quickly leveling up my spells. I'm not gonna do that, guys. I'm not gonna cast Soul Trap on mammoths and on horses just to level up my my Conjuration quickly. I'm not gonna stand in a forge while healing myself with restoration spells to quickly level restorations. I don't like doing that. I'm gonna play the game normally. This is again a game appreciation let's play. I want to just, you know, I just want to have the normal standard experience. There's no reason to go crazy like that. We're gonna get to 100 in Conjuration and one-handed and all of that stuff. Like, there's no reason to enhance it. I mean, it might be a little bit difficult, but you see, we can do it. We killed some vampires and some wolves at the same time. It's okay. We can work this out. Also, another thing you guys have probably noticed, I'm not very good at actually being optimal with my loot and also playing and talking about the lore. You guys have noticed that I usually pick things and I don't necessarily equip them as soon as I get them. It's because I can't multitask that hardcore, you know, like if I'm talking to you guys, it's very difficult for me to think about this stuff. So yeah, I did equip my Ring of Minor Health, the Amulet of Arche, and I also equipped the cuffed boots, which were better than my Imperial boots. So usually what will happen is that you guys are probably going to tell me that there's something in my inventory that I should equip, and I'll equip that in between episodes. It's just better that way. Also, most potions and things I'll buy in between episodes, like I did with my Bound Sword, and I guess I also have Conjure Familiar, which you can show here real quick. And there we go. Anyways, welcome to Iverstead, or is it Rorikstead? I'm sorry, Rorikstead. Jesus Christ. Now let's make that mistake. There's nothing that we're gonna do here, really. We just wanted to get the place. We'll come back to the Bloated Man's Grotto. I know it sounds pretty gross, and I guess we'll just do this thing real quick here, and we will end the episode. Now, this place is very much high level. We're gonna encounter some Spriggans, and I believe even a bear. So we're not actually going to clear this place. I'm just go ahead and quick save as well. There's something that we want from this place, and one thing only, and that is the Oath Sword. The reason I'm getting it is because it's a really great sword to get at the beginning of the game. And if you're just starting the game and you already went to Whiterun and you're kind of looking to expand yourself a bit, do some dungeons, get some loot, this is a great place to go. It's very close to Whiterun, it's very easy to get to. You might encounter a dragon like I did, but you don't have to fight it. But the sword that you get in this dungeon is very, very good. It has a base value of 11, which I believe puts it... oh boy. I don't really have the stats here, but it's a lot better than the Bound Sword as I have it. I think so. I believe so. So we can actually use it, and it wouldn't be bad at all. So I really just want to showcase what we're gonna find in here. Get the sword and get the hell out of here. So this is a Shrine of Talos, as you can see. Very important, we'll talk about it in just a bit. Bound Sword, and... oh boy. Oh, there's the sword. Sorry, I'm just gonna be sprinting this out. So when the Empire 200 years ago, oh boy, when the Empire lost to the Elves 25 years ago, the Empire pretty much left the Blades to die. I mean, the Blades were, for the most part, like a remnant of something that the Elves really, really hated, and we'll probably have a video just for that, so you don't have to worry too much about it. The important thing to note here is that the Blades were supposed to have been disbanded, and they were illegal. You were not allowed to be a Blade anymore now that the Elves won the war against the Empire. So the Empire pretty much just turned their backs on the Blades. The Blades did not want to resign. They thought to themselves as, you know, they had a solemn duty to kill dragons, fight for the Empire, kill elves, do all that good stuff. So they did not disband, and because of that the elves butcher them all. Now one Blade managed to run away from Cloud Ruler Temple when the temple was overrun by elves, and he managed to get all the way to Skyrim, and he hid in the Bloated Man's Grotto. In fact, the sword that we're carrying is his sword. The reason he came into that cave specifically is because it's supposed to be a hidden sanctuary for Talos worshippers. Now, the reason he's not with us anymore, and the reason why his sword is here intact, is because after he sought sanctuary in the shrine, he decided that it was better to leave the shrine and actually die honorably, because he hoped that, see, if he would have stayed hidden, the elves would have kept on looking for him for however long it took, and eventually they could have found the shrine, which would have meant that the elves would have destroyed the shrine, which he didn't want to. So he decided to sacrifice his life by, you know, running towards them and pretty much letting them kill him with honor, so that they would stop looking for him, and obviously as a consequence they would never find the shrine, and the shrine could stay there forever. So pretty cool stuff, pretty brave guy, and this is the sword that he would have used otherwise. Does 25 points of stamina damage, creatures and people up to level 12, flee from combat. It's really good. Like, overall the stats, it's a really good sword for early game, and the bonuses for it are fantastic. So this is something that you guys can use. I just wanted to show it to you guys, you know, just in case someone was interested in that. Oh boy. I think I'll probably just leave the dragon, what I'm talking about, Broken Fang Cave for tomorrow, for some other time, then we can really do talk about the vampires and whatnot. I also wanted to cover a little bit more about, you know, the stars and I guess the inception of this world, because it's very interesting. There's a lot of lore in there, man. The differences between what the humans believe and the elves believe, like the stories, you guys wouldn't believe what happened in the Merethic era, when it was a time when gods would walk the earth like normal people, and they would do a lot of crazy stuff. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you so much for the comments, guys. You guys make this so much better. I really do appreciate all the likes and the comments that you guys are giving me. It's making it a lot easier for me to be able to, I guess, respond to you guys like this. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with how this playthrough is turning out, and it seems like you guys really enjoy it, which makes me even happier. Tomorrow, I suppose I'll do some Iverstead, talk a little bit about this town, maybe even explore this area just a bit, although I don't know if there's anything else that I necessarily want to talk about as far as Whiterun Hold is concerned. There's the rest that I guess is cool, but other than that, I don't know. I'll figure something out. Alright, boys. Have a good one.